Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I am Abe with Mystic Gen Mara, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And today I would like to go over the reading. It's a little bit early, but the new moon is on Friday. So I figured we could do a little energy check-in with the tarot and mainly oracle cards today for the new moon and what's coming up. We just came out of a pretty intense retrograde of Mercury with a bunch of new moons, eclipses, full moons. It was just a lot of energy in the last about 6 weeks or so, and it's starting to settle down, which is about time. So let's look at the energy that's going along with this new moon in Taurus. And the new moon in May is coming up, like I said, on the 19th this year. It's the third new moon of the spring, which is awesome. And it's where did I just lost my notes? Sorry. But with this new moon coming up, we're working with some very interesting energy because we're in Taurus still, which is weird, but we're on the cusp of going from Taurus to Gemini, so we have this shifting of energy occurring. We're out of the Aries, fiery starting energy. We are out of that more chaotic energy that goes along with anytime Mercury decides to go backwards. And now we're moving into a lot more personal expression. With this new moon, this would be a good time to look at ways to be more creative with your personal expression and ground yourself into a new habit, a new positive habit. Maybe it's, like for me, reducing your level of caffeine that you ingest. Maybe it's adding a salad with dinner every night, walking in the evening, taking the dog for a walk, just adding a little bit of time to that. It could be something like meditative, reading a couple of pages in that new book that you have, religious, philosophical, spiritual, but really start to ground a new habit, a new positive, healthy habit into your life at this time. And it's also because we're coming from Taurus into Gemini during this next week or so. We're working on moving from a very grounded, anchored position into that dualistic air, so it can either be an airhead, lightheaded, flighty experience, or a very intellectual, critical, sharp cutting type energy. In the tarot, that would be your swords. So we're moving from this grounded earth pentacle energy into this other air energy, which has two different sides to it. Gemini is the twins, as with Pisces. So you have two warring factions that it can go either way. It's what do you want to make of this energy is what's coming up. And let's see, skip down here to my other notes. I lost my notes. That's great. Okay. Sorry about that. But with this new energy that's coming up, we're working with grounding, we're working with anchoring these new habits, this new positive energy into our everyday life, because in reality, we're always trying to grow. We're always looking for something to become better at, to become deeper in a spiritual sense. Even people, and I know several people who pretty much don't do a lot with the spiritual life, religious, philosophical, or otherwise. They just kind of float through life, are starting to get more interested. They're starting to get more curious. And it's because there's a lot of outside influences, stellar, zodiac, lunar, solar, etc., that are starting to really trigger a lot more people to this dimensional density shift, depending on who you want to read or listen to. Ra describes it as a shift from third density into fourth, and we have a period of about 150 years or so where this shift is occurring. We also have if you take Thelema, Aleister Crowley's practices, we're shifting out of the last goddess-focused or a god-focused energy into this energy of the sun, into the age of Horus. There's also the talk of the age of Aquarius. That one, as much as I try to research it, I still feel like I'm reading in circles. That one doesn't make a lot of sense. But if we're into the Hindu myths, we're in the middle of shifting from the Kali Yuga into Dwarapara, which is the absolute lowest circle of the human evolution, which is strictly physical. There's nothing spiritual. It is the day-to-day. That's all you think about, worry about, know about. And the Dwapara is where we're mixing that grounded physical, but we're also bringing in this massive level of spiritual energy. So we're in that shift. Literally almost every culture, mystic practice, religion that's older as in 2,000 years plus, that I have researched is all saying that we're in the middle of around 1900 or so is when it started, and it'll end around 2200. So we're in this window of a shift. And during that shift, there's a lot of energy shifting us upwards. And that's where you'll see a lot of these new beginnings popping up, new things starting. And that's because each person who hears is coming to this realization of something new at a different time. And this new moon is a time for people in the more grounded energy of Taurus, especially because they tend to not want to do much. They are anchored. And I don't mean that they're lazy. This is where my world is. I go to work, I go home. I go to work, I go home. They are very structured in most cases, but it's grounded in a reality, the ones that I've met. And I know a fair amount of Tauruses, and they're all kind of like, this is where I'm at. They never move very far away from home, and when they do, it's usually the family goes with them, a significant portion of the family, because they want to stay anchored in that family, and they tend to be really bullheaded, obviously, but that kind of energy works with that. And right now, the stars are aligning and saying it's time for even the Taurus to start to look at things from a deeper level and to grow on a more spiritual level. So, with that, I will go through and we will pull a crystal card for each of the 4 elements. I'm struggling with Zodiac. I'm trying to learn. And then we'll pull a Mystic Wisdom card. So we will do one of each, and I will put the links in the description if you're interested in either of the decks. But we'll start with fire, because that is kind of the first element in the Zodiac as well. So we'll start with the fire guys. And for fire, our crystal is the Ascended Master Mary Magdalene and Aqua Aura Quartz, which is a really cool looking crystal. And it's the divine alchemy. With perfect trust, I surrender to the process of radical transformation, allowing my soul to express itself in an entirely new way. In complete faith, I recognize the unlimited healing power and creative genius of the divine within my heart. In the mind of the divine, there are only possibilities and the grace needed to attain the heart's higher purpose. I commit myself to the evolution of my consciousness with joyful confidence in the reality being birthed through my soul at this time. I live in the realization that I am loved intimately and tenderly by the divine. So this energy is really an energy of kind of radicalness. Mary Magdalene was kind of a oddball. She wasn't the one that you would expect to be following someone like Jesus Christ when he was here on earth. Some legends say that she was a temple prostitute, others say that she was a common streetwalker. It just really depends on which group you're looking at. But when you're talking about the Magdalene, you're talking about someone who is outside of the norm. And Aqua Aura Quartz is generally a stone that is kind of falsified. It's a beautiful quartz crystal, but they enhance it a little bit. There are some places that I've seen where it's a natural crystal, but a lot of the times when you buy it in the store, it's because it's been enhanced. So what it's saying is the divine alchemy, that enhancement, taking you where you're at. This is the crystal that is for the fire energy. The energy that's coming in is taking you where you're at, and it's helping you elevate to the next level. It's helping you elevate to the next step in your spiritual consciousness and evolution. So looking at it in that respect, how can you see yourself having grown in the past And in a more spiritual sense, but you can apply this to the everyday world as well, how have you grown? And second of all, where are you headed? So the crystal that Aqua Aura Quartz and Mary Magdalene are saying, what is it that you're trying to grow with? What is it you're trying to do? Look at how far you've come. And from that, you can see what path you're on. And then look ahead. Where does that path taking you? So that's the energy of the crystal coming forward for this new moon. Kind of something to think about and journal on. And your mystic wisdom is the good fortune, inviting the magic in. So as you're working on understanding where you've come from and where you're going physically, spiritually, etc., you have the opportunity of good fortune. Good fortune is what's going to show you the next steps. The good fortune is what's going to guide that agreement that you've made with your higher self, your holy guardian angel, and your spirit guides into the next level. So when you're looking at your past, you're looking at your now, and you're looking to the future as to what are my options, you have good fortune coming in saying, this is going to be the better one, shining a light on this particular path, because that's the one that is going to lead you to this next level, this next step in your growth. So let's look at the energy for Earth. And that is technically the second energy in the zodiac as well, elementally. Sweet. Well, that card literally just leapt out. Doesn't happen very often, but it just jumped out of the deck. We have Archangel Raphael, and Malachite is the stone for the Earth. It is grace for the grand gesture. I am open to the empowerment of spirit that provides me with wisdom, courage, and consciousness to recognize the actions required to honor my soul. With boldness and confidence, I act on my intuitive knowing. I am connected and surrendered to the highest guidance available to me. I take steps with faith and the wisdom that guides and inspires my actions. I trust in the higher timing of my every leap of faith. Even the smallest step is taken in trust, demonstrating confidence in my journey and the loving guidance of the universe, and thus attract spiritual blessings. So with Archangel Raphael, you're working with your opposites. You're working with air. You're working with more healing, more intellectual. The earth that you're in, earth energy, is stable, grounded. But can be a little bit too rooted to the spot. So when you work with Archangel Raphael, you're starting to come to the terms with expanding upwards, maybe stepping outside of your comfort zone. And when you work with Malachite, it's a very powerful green stone. It works with healing energy, it works with your own earth grounding energy, but it's also a stone of growth and spirituality. So your crystal and your angel, or your guide for this new moon, is really helping you, asking you to step forward into this next level. It's saying that it's going to work with your grounding energy, but it's going to help you add to it with the balance of opposites. The last card was Divine Alchemy. In this one, you're merging opposite energies. Raphael with earth, air, and earth energy with your natural zodiac energy. And that is another form of alchemy. So what you're creating out of this is growth and healing as the energy that's coming forward. So this next new moon, really think about how have you, or with this new moon on the 19th, how have you grown and how have you merged your intellectual into your more grounded aspect, the air with the earth. And when you're doing that, how can you apply that to the future? How can you merge opposites to help you develop further? And working with Malachite, because it's green, and a lot of times when you find it, it's going to be green with banded darker green shades, which makes it absolutely an intense stone. And if you look closely, I don't know if this will show up in the camera, you can see in the middle there, it's actually striped up and down, but that's the same kind of striping that goes on. And so it's a layering effect, basically, is what we're working with here, because you're not just gonna wake up one day and look, I've done the thing, I'm good. Okay, you've done the thing and now you're here. Now that's the next step. So it's always going to be a concept of layering and growth. And for you, Earth, you're going to grow, plateau, so you're comfortable again, and then you're going to grow and plateau. So working with your opposite, which is air, Archangel Raphael, you're really going to help grow that, because Raphael is going to help you heal any emotional energy that might be in the way, help you work through any physical symptoms, because sometimes, especially if you're really super grounded, when you start to work up the chain in spirit or in physical, it can have some uncomfortableness that goes with it, and that's why Archangel Raphael is there. So your mystic wisdom is legends. Learn from those who inspire you. So as you're growing, you're not growing alone. This card is saying that there's so many people else that are out there. Look to the things that inspire you, whether it's a person, whether it's a deity, whether it's a guide, a historical figure, someone who's alive today. But look at the things and look at the people who bring you up. And if there are people in your circle who you're inspired by, even if it's, man, I like what they're doing, how can I become like that? And that's in your circle of friends, work to uplift each other, build each other up. But it's for Earth, it's really about elevating in a community. Earth wants to be alone, but kind of needs the energy of a group. So you're alone but together, and that's what you're working with this energy. Is you're trying to see the things that you want and how can you become more like it. Understand, no matter who that person is on a pedestal, if it's a human, they're going to have flaws. So don't be ashamed of those flaws. Look at those flaws as an aspect of the whole. And then be like, how can I make that, if that happens to come up for me, how can I make that into something more positive? How can I learn from their mistakes so that I can either skip that mistake or use that mistake to help me grow. So let's look at the air energy now. So we're looking for air for this new moon in May, this Taurus new moon. And we have Archangel Anael and pink calcite. Acceptance. Looks like air might be needing to look inside a little bit on this one. Acceptance is my pathway to transformation. Acceptance allows me to see with clarity and make choices that are wise, effective, and healing. I choose to grow through my experiences, trusting the blessings revealed according to the divine timing and higher wisdom. As I acknowledge what is, I become capable of attracting inspired solutions that rapidly advance my spiritual empowerment. I now attain higher understanding and access the practical wisdom within, finding the best way forward. So, get that to focus. The energy coming forward for air is a little bit of a grounding card. You're working with, it may not be what you want, but can you accept how far you've come? Can you accept where you stand in this now moment? By accepting where you're at, you relax, the tension flows out because you're here, you're in the present time. And when you are arriving in this moment, all of a sudden the world around you starts to expand. You see more because you're not focused on one thing, you're looking at the whole. And when you're looking at the whole, you become balanced. You find peace because you're seeing things as they are. Instead of looking at them from a critical eye of, well, that could be better and that's not good enough, or looking at it from the rose-colored glasses of, everything's just great, when it's really not. When you look at it from reality and become accepting of it, you can see things, and then you can start to understand, okay, if I change this, then it makes this better, and if I just take this out of the way, it clears the pathway over here. So you finding that balance, finding that quiet point of acceptance, is also finding the point of gratitude. And it's when you get into that gratitude, balanced, accepting state, it's your heart. Now, it doesn't mean that things are always going to be perfect. It does not mean accept all of it and just leave it the way it is. You're coming to the point of acceptance so that you can understand it better. It's coming to understand almost to the point of, I'm not sure what just happened here. But it's coming to acceptance to the point of finding peace and allowing yourself to see it and then understand how to change it, help it grow. But you're starting with yourself, and that's where that coming into acceptance is. When you accept all of this, you can look inside and be like, oh, well, if I change this, it'll help me understand this other person. So it's really about understanding and peace and quiet within, helping the world without. So let's see what your mystic wisdom is. And for air in this new moon of Taurus in May of 2023. There we go. And we have Archangel Raphael, your patron of your energy, provider of healing for mind, body, and spirit. So when you come to that point of acceptance, working with the pink calcite and Archangel, yes, Anael, you're working with Archangel Raphael as well, because you're coming into your own element. As an air, everything has to be either intellectual or a kind of airy-fairy. And Archangel Raphael is going to help heal and help you balance some of the things that may be a little more uncomfortable. When you come into that point of acceptance and you come into that middle ground of the now moment, very, very much here, the things that you may see when you stop, dead set focusing and you broaden your horizon, you may see things that make you uncomfortable. You may see things that make you angry. You may see things that make you very upset and sad. Archangel Raphael can help you heal any wounds that may come up, because when you're looking at the world and you see these different elements and emotions, it can trigger within you your emotions and things that need to come forward to work through and be healed. And again, I'll say this another time, during new moons is a really good time to kind of get the things out that you are kind of stuck on, things that are bugging you. Get your journal out and really put to paper what it is that you're trying to express. So when you get into that now moment, don't just look at the now in this instant. Look at the now as the broader spectrum as well. You're looking within, and how are you reflecting that outside? So Archangel Raphael is a very good healing angel for that type of work. And let's look at water for 2023 Taurus new moon in May. And Taurus new moon in May 2023 water. And we have Ascended Master Lady Nada, and I can honestly say I'm not sure who this is, and Rhodochrosite. Sensitivity. My devoted heart is a willing, conscious, and clear channel for spiritual grace. My growing sensitivity empowers me to experience the loving presence of the divine and to become a living light with tremendous compassion. My sensitivity increases in perfect harmony with my ability to produce subtle energies and generate a protective field of spiritual light around me. I claim the space that I need to process my experiences and thrive. I trust what I sense and respond to with wisdom. If it is safe and wild and startling and beautiful to be a sensitive soul with higher awareness. So you're really working with this healing energy, and this kind of has been a really broad theme with a lot of this, because we have Archangel Raphael show up twice, and with the water element is very much about emotions. So this card is calling you to get into your heart energy, your heart chakra, the center of your chest area, and really feel the emotions that are coming forward. Allow those emotions and that feeling to kind of flood up through, and if it involves letting it out in tears, let it out. And when you do that, it's going to allow you to see more clearly. Being a water sign and being under the water energy, emotions are kind of predominantly who and what you work with. And at times, because water tends to absorb everything around it, and water fits into whatever mold it is put into, you get a lot of emotional gunk, a lot of garbage. Instead of being crystal clear and sparkling like, spring water, you're kind of looking like that sludgy pond where the frogs live. And what this card is calling you to do is to allow the emotions out. Allow that sludge to kind of pour off. Pop the cork, so to speak, and just let it out. Let the floodgates loose. Get it out of your system. And this goes for all water. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, all of you, let the emotions out. Whether it's laughter, giggle hysterically, and it's like people can think you're crazy. You can let the tears run down your face. Preferably do this alone, but let the emotions out. If it's something that's crying, let yourself have that moment. It doesn't mean you're going to wallow in it for the rest of your life, but like, get it out. And then journal what's happening. After you kind of, let the raging emotions work themselves through, journal it out. Write down what you were feeling, why it was feeling, like any impressions, any intuitive insights. You might be surprised, water, when you start to let that out, the random insights that come through with that. Because a lot of the times we don't want to, oh, well, someone reads my journal. So what? I mean, really, what are they going to do? Well, you had a really emotional day and you felt such about so-and-so. So? And that's kind of how you should work with this energy during this time. Doesn't mean for always, but for this time, just get it out. And if they're like, well, you said in your journal, first of all, why were you reading my journal? And second of all, I was venting. I just didn't tell you. Work with that kind of energy. So your mystic wisdom is a vacation. Take time for relaxation and adventure. This works really closely with your crystal and your guide, because when you're venting and you're allowing those emotions to come up and then be processed out, what's happening is you're taking yourself on an emotional vacation. You're freeing yourself from all of that garbage that you end up carrying around. You're not fitting into the mold of work, family, relationships, your friend groups. And like for me personally, I have a very broad range of friend groups. I have the ones who I don't talk about spiritualism with. I have those who I can talk spiritualism with. I have the ones that I can watch horror films with. I've got the ones that we watch romantic comedies. You become adaptable when you understand who you are. And water fits into molds. Well, you can either choose the mold or it can choose you. But when you take the emotional and mental vacation, you're allowing yourself to understand what's going on in here and what's going on in your chest, in your heart, because that is the mold you have to think about. You live with yourself. You may not want to at times. Trust me, I know that feeling very well. But you're living with yourself in this moment. And so taking that emotional break, let it all out, purge it, and then be quiet, be gentle, run a bath, go for a hike, go sit by the creek, splash your feet in the water. Just allow yourself to take that time after the emotional outburst to heal. And again, this is going along with the energy of this new moon coming in, and this new moon is about new beginnings. Each of these readings that we've done today have something to do with clearing out a past, understanding where you're at, and then picking a new future, working with a new beginning. And a lot of it coming forward here, we had Archangel Raphael pop up frequently, and that's saying that there's some healing that's going to happen. That's going to happen. And that angel works very, very gently, but also doesn't put up with a lot. So you trying to hold on to something, you have free will, and he'll let you, and then he's going to stand there and tap his foot and being like, are you ready to let that go yet? Does it hurt enough yet? That's not helping you. So just picture an angel in yellow and green robes tapping their foot, scowling at you. Like, dude, seriously. And that's kind of the energy that's coming up. It's like, that dude, seriously, are you really going to keep holding on to something that's not helping you anymore? And so this new moon is about releasing, looking to what you can create that's going to be more positive. And that's kind of the energy that I see coming forward for this next couple of months anyway, just from this reading, is we're looking to a new beginning, and the beginning is going to be what you're really looking for. So when you go inside, you understand you, then you can understand out here. So with that, I will let you guys go. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like on it. If this is the type of content you like to see, please click the subscribe button and That way you'll be notified whenever a new video comes forward or if I am doing a live stream. And if you have questions, comments, or even criticisms, as long as we're respectful, I welcome all of that. And I will talk to you guys in a future video.